The KK government doesn't have to lie about anything. The KK government was given the mandate by the Kenyan people. The disagreements that exist between Honorable Gachagua and the president and his impeachment and the coming of Kindiki, for some of us, it doesn't mean anything. For anybody, like I saw, because I attended Speaker Wetangula's mother's funeral, and I was sitting there and I listened to Kimani Ichung'wah say how Honorable Natembeya was abducting people, and in fact, these people have been abducting themselves. I mean, at some point, people in this country are just going to look and look at all of us in leadership and say, what happened to these people? Why is it that we behave as if actually this is not a state? This is just some banana republic where you can break the law as you may so wish, abduct anybody you want. If I say something and I've broken the law, you don't have to arrest me, Ayub. What they do is come and invade my place. Even they can cut all my children's heads and for retaliation. That's not the country. This is not the Senate. This is not the Republic. This is not the president I expected William Ruto to be. I expected his standard to be higher. Like I've said before, the president has served four different presidents. Any mistakes that those presidents were making, by now, surely he should have trained himself to fix them. He was with Moi. Finished Moi, he came to Kibaki. He was in the coalition government of Kibaki and Raila. You remember our mess in 2008? I mean, it's like we are handling our country as if we want to go into war. People are already saying how they're either going to rig elections or take those elections and do whatever they want to do with them. And that is normal in a normal democratic republic that we've all been fighting about and saying how wonderful our country is and how we can move, take it next, and how we can change certain things. We are struggling in education, struggling in infrastructure, struggling in governance. I am worried. I am an extremely worried person. And yet other people are laughing these things off. It's normal.
Senator Diaz.
We are discussing issues of...
In the recent days, we have seen how the rising number of abduction has really caused headlines in the country. And many people are citing that indeed the government must have felt it is duty to protect citizens. We have seen how many parents are crying, how many people are complaining, and how the nation even has been astonished by the overwhelming cases of abduction. The people have gone to the street, the activists have done their part, and even every citizen have done their part of condemning these. These people were released, and this raised speculation that maybe in the coming days some things might be changing. One of them is the way in which the critics are going to approach their criticism to this Kenya Kwanza government. Many people saying that now, look at how these issues were handled. We have seen even Senator Okiya Omtata, who was handled like a potato while he was demonstrating in the capital city of Nairobi. And this demonstration spread all around the world. And this time around, even the story of Kibet Bull is one of the reasons why these people were released, because this news was circulated even to the international community. And then we saw that the government must have thought that, hey, it's wise to stop doing these things.
The Senate was more proactive. Most likely, I think, it will be much easier for some of the problems that are coming into this country, the problems that are actually even cooking. I mean, Ayub, look at what is happening in Central. Even when my colleagues would want to dismiss what is happening, the political matrix that is being generated there, to me, is exact template like what was happening in 1992, 2002, now you're coming to 2000. What is happening right now is very simple. Here you are, you have a political crisis, and we are assuming that this political crisis, the only way you solve it is going to be in a certain manner. That can either be by intimidation or by insulting each other on national TV. And that's why I saw my brother Eddie really struggling to say, oh, you know, there are certain things which, because we want the state to... Eddie, the state only becomes stronger and becomes self-sustaining if we accept that mistakes have been happening on both sides.
Yes.
And therefore, we need to begin to engage ourselves as leadership honestly, candidly, and fairly. So when I see the noise that is coming from Central Kenya, and I see some of the noise that coming from the people around the presidency, and I see the noise from other quarters, I begin to worry. Why? Because these are matters, if Kenyans who are in leadership were much more serious, these are things, even when some people will consider that where Gachagua is beyond any reasonable redemption and other things, the damage has already been done. But the damage can be managed. You can't throw fuel onto the fire.
Exactly.
If Gachagua is in Central making noise about how the president has betrayed him and the certain community that he comes from is feeling betrayed and all that, so long as he is saying it and he feels that is true without being personal and attacking the president personally, for me, I don't find any contradiction on that. That is what the president, William Ruto, did with Uhuru all the period he was Uhuru's vice president.
And he wasn't impeached.
And he wasn't impeached. And nobody carried kids to go and abduct them to teach them a lesson because they're using a damn phone. This is what scares me.
Yep.
This is what worries me. That slowly we are now becoming, how do I put it, Ayub? We are slowly beginning to become insensitive to the violations, to the disagreements, that everything now in Kenya is beginning to look like it's do or die. I mean, all of a sudden, Mungiki is now being set up to start. I mean, surely.
By who?
I mean, you've been seeing it all over. Social media, you've been seeing it in the newspapers. Mainda Njenga has been reactivated.
By who?
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Do we need to go back to have people who've been activated who have no responsibility or even answerable to anybody?
And I'm raising this point because we were talking about security questions as to who was abducting Kenyans, where they were held, why certainly there was a concurrence between those who were released previously and now, the Longton brothers and Bob Njagi. Again, you bring in another important question. Who then, in your view, is re-engineering Mungiki?
My argument and my point is how I wish the political class would listen to itself. It is not ordinary Kenyans. Because of this power play. Because, I mean, you saw my brother. I mean, you know, Oscar Sudi is my friend. Kamket is my friend. So what are you standing in public and telling me that the elections which are coming, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do, whether you rig them out or not, it doesn't. What are you doing to the country? Why are people so insensitive? I mean, Kenya is a country that has been discriminatory to itself. Look at how we have treated the Somali community. Look at how we have treated other communities. Why is it that our job is purely to plan and organize how to dismember our beautiful country?
Before you retire to bed, when you look yourself in the mirror, do you regret belonging to the same political class?
Yes.